Today on the DML News podcast, Trump says the Republican Party is more unified than ever before. I'd like to see the proof of that one. Plus, 3 men that look kind of like me now being held on felony charges for hate crimes for saying bacon. Can't make this stuff up. We're going to talk about this and so many more things. We've got so many clips today. It's going to be a great show, and it's going to be all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. It is Monday. It is the Thanksgiving week, and I give thanks for all of you. And so what I'm going to start off with is what I always start off with. Please, if you're on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're on Rumble, hit the share button. If you're listening to this later on and playback, hit the share button. And, of course, if you are Team DML and if you are a DML News app user, well, there is no share button. Just hang in there and have some fun. Today is one of those days that if you're listening to me only, meaning you're not watching this program, you're still going to enjoy it. You're still going to get a lot from it, but it's not going to be as good as if you were watching it. Let me just say that to begin with. Ryan has cut up 11 clips. One of them is 5 minutes long. And we're going to get to these clips right away because what I have seen happen in the last 4 or 5 days made me send a text to one of my best friends last night. He reached out to me. I'm a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, football fan, now that I live here in Florida. And he said, the Bucks have a tough game tonight. I said, I'm not watching it. He said, what? I said, no, I'm re-watching the press conference between Trump and Mamdani. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this for 20 years. I have never been more concerned about what the very near future can bring since Obama won the second election. And when he was reelected and the American people ignored what we learned for the first 4 years, I was in a panic. And what I'm seeing over the last couple of days, what I'm seeing happening in this White House, what I'm seeing happening in the Republican Party, and the denial that is happening across the board, it is pure insanity. And it's got me shivering in fear of what happens to this country. I can only start off by saying to you that if I were able, and this is a lot of self-confidence on my end, and I don't give a rat's ass. If you don't like it, there's many other podcasters. Go to somebody else who's going to blow sunshine up your poop. I reached out to 3 lawyers last week and asked each one of them if there was any way that the courts would see to it that I could run for governor of Florida. Because I'm so freaking concerned about Byron Donalds being the governor of Florida. I actually did a podcast last week, an interview with the former assistant attorney general in Florida. And you'll get that podcast tomorrow, the interview. He's really good conservative. And I said to him after we were done with the recording, and I think the recording was on Thursday, I said, why aren't you running for governor? And he says, I'm thinking about it. I said, get your ass to where I live. I will have some of my buddies meet with you and see whether or not you're not a good candidate that we could get behind. I'm seeing my state of Florida. We're going to talk about something that just took place in Florida over the weekend. I'm watching my state of Florida slowly but surely lose its grip on the freedoms that we have here. Then on a national level, I'm like going through my head, am I going to have to run for president in 2028? Because I don't know what the hell is happening in this White House. And I'm sorry, if you're the vice president, J.D. Vance, and you're not knocking on the Oval Office right now and saying, Mr. President, I need to sit down with you without anybody else around. I need an hour of your time. If he's not doing that, well, then he has no right ever running for president, because what Donald J. Trump is doing right now is not only is he screwing himself, he's going to be in trouble. And I don't know if anybody has the balls to tell him this in the Oval Office. If we continue at the pace we're continuing, not only are we going to lose the House, we're going to lose the Senate. If that happens, that man is going to be impeached and removed. Now, J.D. Vance winds up becoming the president. But, I mean, I don't know. I think Trump has sort of bought into his own headlines and thinks he's impervious to all things, and he's not. And he's starting to lose his party. For the first time since 2015, he is starting to lose his party. And so today's program is not a beat up on Trump, because you'll hear the idiots in the live feed screaming that sort of thing. And I've also this weekend figured out that I no longer am dealing with any idiots. You write an idiot statement, I just block your ass. I don't need you. We have a movement here. The MAGA movement, unfortunately, is crumbling, and I don't know if it can be salvaged. There needs to be a new movement to come up in here. And there is a movement called America First, America Only. And I am going to be one of the voices in that movement. And anybody who gets in my way will be freaking barreled over. And if you say you're a Trump voter, if you say you're a conservative, that's fine. But if you're going to be one of those, oh, well, yeah, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, move out of my way. I'm just going to delete you and get you off my page. We don't need that. I'm not here debating with you. I'm in survival mode. We are in fight mode. We are literally going to be extinct. And what I mean by we is the white Christian conservative is going to be extinct if we do not step up and scream louder. I don't know if there's going to be a better show than this one to support what I am saying here. And if you look over my career, I've been really sort of kind of boring. If you take out the walk-in talks where I would jump in the snow and do a snow angel, or, you know, in the leaves and jump in the leaves, other than that, I am dreadfully boring in the sense that you look at all the big names on the Republican Party, whether it is Trump or down to any of the big name pundits or any of the big name podcasters. They've all got these unbelievably wildly high stories, multiple divorces, drug use. Now I'm not a druggie anymore. Alcoholic. Now I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I've been married 16 times. I cheat on my wife with a freaking with an intern. I mean, the list is so long. I used to be a Democrat. Now I'm not a Democrat anymore. It's all over the place. I mean, you just take the top people that come to your mind right now. Let's start back with Fox News. Bill O'Reilly. A complete womanizer, married multiple times, just a troubled human being, top of the class. Megyn Kelly, you know, a far left Democrat, as far as I'm concerned, goes to independent, comes to Fox News, pretends like she is a conservative, but can't totally do the fake, then shows her real colors and goes to work for NBC. Then comes back and says, oh, I need relevancy again. Let me put on my fake MAGA hat. I mean, it's all over the place, right? Married multiple times. I mean, all these people have got all these stories. But Tucker Carlson used to work at CNN, MSNBC. Now all of a sudden he's the darling of conservatism. Can't stand Trump, says he hates Trump, all the text messages, can't wait till I don't got to report on him anymore. Then all of a sudden it's a love fest. Now it's all the way back to wherever it started. It used to be watch out for Islam. We like the Jews. Now it's I hate the Jews. Sharia is not bad. I mean, all these people have so many skeletons and so many erratic moments. And I'm just a boring old guy, married to the same girl he met in 9th grade, 4 kids who don't do drugs, don't get in trouble. You know, I pay my taxes. I do everything by the book. I'm as boring as they come. But now I am telling you, Charlie Kirk's death started in motion, and now watching my country wither away. And as I start to get older and realize the fact that my chapters in life are less than the ones I lived, I'm on the other side of the hill. I am going to make sure that I do everything excuse me, to make it for my kids and grandkids and for your kids and your grandkids that we have a country. It wasn't more than 2 weeks ago, 7 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago. You go back and take a look. Donald J. Trump was telling people that Mr. Mamdani was an evil communist that was going to destroy New York. Mamdani got up and said, if you want to take down New York, you're going through me. I mean, called him a fascist, called him all the horrible names, called all of his followers racists, and he started to beat on the fact that he was going to tax unfairly white people over everything else. Says he's going to put Benjamin Netanyahu in jail. And at the same time, we'll sit there and shake hands and take pictures with a freaking terrorist that tried to take down the World Trade Center in 1993. All of these things that this man did, he's not hiding it. Mamdani is not hiding who he is. He's putting it right there in front of all of you. And then what he does is he tricks the voters, pretends like he likes gays and pretends like he likes women. He is an Islamic jihadist sympathizer. Trump called him a jihadist. They all called him the worst names. Why? Not because we're racist, but because he has said what he has said. He has done what he has done. He gave us all of his blueprint. He says, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to carry out tequila. I'm going to tell people that I love them and I like them and everything else here in New York City. So this way I win, and then everything's going to change upside down. You wait to see who he puts in as his top brass part of his team by the time that's all done. It is going to be radical. Trump invites him to the White House. Now, I would not have invited him to the White House. I would not have. It was not my responsibility as president. What I would have done is I would have held a phone call with him. Here's how that phone call with President Lynch works. Here's how it works. Listen, man, I know why you won an election. You won an election because this country has been taking in way too many people for way too long. None of the American people voted for this. And you know what? I'm going to be doing, well, see, I wouldn't have to talk like this because I would have already done it. Trump isn't doing it. You see what the steps I've been taking? Cutting off the H-1B visas, not taking in Chinese students anymore, telling everybody I'm going to vet your ass. You're here. You're Somalians. You Somalians up in Minnesota stealing $400 million, pretending like your kid's got autism. I'm taking half the IRS and I'm putting them on you. They're going to investigate you. They are going to look at how much you lied on your documentation to come in here, and I am going to denaturalize you. You see how I was doing all that, Mamdani? Let me tell you something. I am going to be on you like white on rice because I think you're a freaking jihadi terrorist. And if you even look at a white, Christian, Jew, anybody who's a non-Muslim, you even look at them with a side eye, I'm going to be on your ass. You think you're going to get up there and call me a fascist? You think you're going to get up there and call the people who support me a racist? I've never given you anything to say that. You've never had anything for me to say, this is what he is. You're going to play those word games? Let me tell you something, pal. You picked a fight with the wrong freaking guy. So every single day when you wake up, you remember one thing. I'm going to be watching you from all angles. One time you slip up, one time, I'm going to have you. That's what I do. That's what I do. Why do I do that? Because I know that my country is being taken over. You know what I don't do? I don't think about my buildings first. I don't think about all the assets I still have in New York and sit there and say to myself, oh man, you know what? This guy, man, if I give this guy a hard time, man, he's going to start doing more code enforcement at my buildings and this and that. If you don't think that went through Trump's mind, you are freaking delusional. We have to stop treating Trump like he walks on water. You have to tell somebody you care about. They got to stop. My God, if your child, if your spouse, if your parent was sitting there smoking 800 cigarettes a day, would you not sit them down and say, Mom, you're freaking killing yourself. You got to stop. Would you not to your kids sit there and say, you got to stop doing drugs, Johnny? You got to stop. Would you not? Would you just sit there and keep on praising these people? No, you wouldn't, because it goes against common sense. So why is every single last Trump supporter and every person in that White House telling this man that he's doing great? That's all I ever hear. Well, Mr. President, due to your great leadership, my ass. Look around you. Look around you. We've got Somalians running an autism scam to which they are pretending their child has an autism problem, collecting $300 to $1,500 on the back end, screwing taxpayers, then sending the money to freaking Somalia to fund terrorism. Listen, if I was a writer in Hollywood and I tried to create the most ridiculous movie ever, you'd say, I'm turning that off. And why are you turning that off, honey? Because this is such BS. It's insulting my intelligence. This would never happen. But it's happening. When you get a guy who gets on Fox News, friendly fire with Laura Ingraham, and says we need 600,000 Chinese in order to save our woke colleges. When you get him to say that there's no talent in the United States, we need more H-1B visas, you start to say, what the fuck is going on here? Who is this I'm dealing with? Is this Barack Obama? If Barack Obama was to meet in a 3-week time frame a terrorist that had a $10 million bounty on his head for 11 years trying to directly and indirectly kill Christians and American citizens, then the next week met with the Saudi prince who has had so many accusations against him and laughed when 9/11 took place, and then after that you invite Mamdani into the Oval Office and you treat him as if he was the next Messiah, you wonder why people are freaking confused. You wonder why Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I'm no exact fan of, I mean, she's one way this way and another way this way for the last couple of months. But you strip that last couple of months out since she's been going back and forth with Trump. She was the most loyal person in the Republican Party, to the point of where she was one of the people I'm just describing, where she didn't have the freaking gonads to say, Mr. President, you're out of your mind. We can't take in more H-1B visas. This party is crumbling. If Obama would have met with those three people, and in the way that Trump did, giving them a state dinner and the red carpet, with Obama, you say he's a freaking traitor, he's a Muslim, he should be up for treason. With Trump, people say, oh, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Seriously? We're going to play clips here from the Mamdani massacre, to where he made Trump look like a fool. You watch Trump's body language. Does that look like somebody who's playing 4D chess? Well, let me tell you, if Trump was playing 4D chess, Mamdani was playing 5D chess. Play the first clip from Fox News.
I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. You know, when I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him.
I mean, you got to be shitting me. Does that look like a guy who's playing 3D chess? Oh, yeah, meeting went real well. He wants to make America great again. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be cheering for him. I love New York. I'm going to be cheering for him. You have a guy. Mamdani isn't Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz hated on Trump during the 2016 election. Hated on him. They all said horrible things about each other. This isn't one of those, hey, man, we're on the same side. I get it. It's politics, and let's just make amends. We're on the same side. Let's do something for the American people. This isn't saying to J.D. Vance, you know, J.D. Vance, you called me Hitler, but I'm going to look past that, and now I'm going to make you my VP. Those decisions on Trump alone are questionable, but hey, I get it. It's politics, right? Okay, just like when I have an argument with my wife and she says to me, I can't stand you. Well, she really loves me, but she's just mad at the moment. We get it. We get it. But when the guy comes to rob my freaking house and wants to light it on fire, what I don't do is take him to dinner the next night. This is a guy who wants to light your city on fire. He wants to make America great again? What are you talking about? He wants to make America Mecca. He wants to make New York City a Muslim enclave. This guy is a freaking poison. And you're sitting there and normalizing him like you did the Saudi prince and like you did the terrorist from Syria. It's absolutely berserk. Play the next short clip. Here's another short clip from Trump.
Much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people, he won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Mamdani, it sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having...
Some of my views have changed. I'm going to go along the lines of all of your views have changed. I'm going to go with all of your views have changed because let me tell you something without any question whatsoever. I voted 3 times for you, Mr. Trump, 3 times to become my president. I have supported you in every single day of my life. You do something I don't like, you do something that is antithetical to the MAGA movement, I'm going to call it out. But I don't call you a scumbag. I don't change my tunes on you. I don't say, oh, my hope, let's get rid of them. No. It's called politics, and it calls I'm in the news. My job has been, always will be, even though the other people don't do what they're supposed to, is to keep accountable the politicians we put into office. That is what the Fourth Estate was supposed to be. That's why they gave freedom of the press. You think they gave freedom of the press so this way the people on CNN can tell you lies? No. The freedom of the press and the protection of the press was so this way they would be able to keep accountable the politicians. They were your voice. They were your vetting system. I feel like I'm the only guy who ever does this anymore. And if you sit there and you call this guy out, oh, you're a traitor, you're not really MAGA. The new one is, DML, who's paying you? Where's your $7,000? Because the thing is that now the Jews from Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, apparently pay $7,000 per post for people to be pro-Israel. Let me tell you something. You're talking about a guy who had a Newsmax show who I was the #1 show, and I told him, I ain't reading your commercials. Why? You know how much money you can make? I don't use your product. My son, may God take me if I'm lying. Just last week, the girl who does my PR, she says to me, Dennis, I have a distributor who wants to take the podcast and put it underneath their umbrella. And you could be with some other really big names. And I looked at the other names, and yeah, and in fact, I know 1 or 2 of the people. I said, oh, I'll listen. And the guy said, you have $1.5 million podcast. Really? Okay. I'll give you the ads. You just read the ads. I said, I'm not reading ads. What do you mean you're not reading ads? I said, I'm not reading ads. I'm not reading ads for things I don't use. Well, then you can't make $1.5 million. I said, well, then don't give me $1.5 million. You can't buy me. I am the most boring, consistent human being of all time. You can't buy me. So no, Israel doesn't give me $7,000 because I'm going to talk the truth. Honestly, I should be given $7,000 because all these other different scumbags that are podcasters are all making millions for lying to you. We have to call them like we see them. I don't ever remember going to a Trump rally, be it in 2015, 2020, or recent. I don't remember any Trump rally where the people were saying more Chinese, or H-1B, H-1B. Or Mamdani. No. No, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's so. I'm not. I'm not going to sell out myself. I'm not going to sell out you. I'm not going to sell out my country. I'm not going to sell out my kids, and I'm certainly not going to sell out my God. I am never going to allow some jihadi who sits down, who thinks that Allah is the man that you need to look up to and say, yes, I swear on the Quran that I will uphold the laws of the United States. What are you talking about? You can't do that. I would never normalize that person next to me. Mamdani is the enemy of the United States of America, let alone New York City. He is a socialist. Take away the Muslim part. Just take away the radical Muslim part. Just look at what he stands for. And he said it right to Trump. He said, I'm a Democrat socialist. He's a socialist. There's not a single freaking thing that you should align with that guy with, other than when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth. That's the only thing that you can align with that man. Oh, some of my positions have changed. I am going to play for you right now. And I never do this. But I am going to play for you right now 5 minutes of the interchanging between Mamdani and Trump. And if you still believe, after watching that 5 minutes, that Trump was playing 4D chess and that you got some magical carpet ride coming back to you in the next couple of months where you can point and say, that's why he did what he did. If that's what you think, I beg you, please go find another podcaster, because I am going to disappoint you every single day of your life. Play it, Ryan.
Yeah, Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I also noticed that in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform, because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our city.
But to be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
that's what you said.
No, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Please
go ahead.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you've threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, named de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President,
You. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani
Yeah, I
administration?
would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if he flew, that's a lot quicker too. He's working very hard. For him to be, that's a very long drive. I'll stick up for you. The plane takes you 30 minutes, and driving takes you a
And
long
Mr.
time.
President, I was wondering if you could clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
You are a peacemaker, and you did a peace in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and he worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President, question for Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats? I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
So there you go. Now, if you look at that and you see somebody who's playing 4D chess, by all means, please send me how the 4D chess game ends. Just put your comment in Facebook so I could read it and entertain me. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. In fact, if I was sitting in front of President Trump right now, I'd say, Mr. President, I'd like to ask you about something that you wrote in Art of the Deal. Let me read this to you. The final key to the way I promote is bravado. I play to people's fantasies, People may not always think big themselves, but they can still get very excited by those who do. That's why a little hyperbole never hurts. People want to believe that something is the biggest and the greatest and the most spectacular. I call it truthful hyperbole. It's an innocent form of exaggeration and a very effective form of promotion. The problem being is that you have to eventually deliver on the goods. We all realize the fact when you go on a stump and you say certain things, we know that it's not going to be as easy. Like you're going to end the war between Ukraine and Putin on day one. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but at least it was emphasizing the fact that he wanted to stop the war. I get it. We get it. The problem being is what you just watched there is not 4D chess. What that is let me protect my assets in New York City. If you don't see that, then you're blinded. Any person on this feed, I just saw a whole bunch of them, any person on this feed who thinks otherwise, who thinks this is a 4D chess, I will apologize. I will quit my job if you write a paragraph right now and explain to me what we get on the other side. Because right now, all we have is the empowerment of Mr. Mamdani. We have the empowerment to where everybody starts to think we can take over the United States, everyone being the entire Muslim world. I read one more paragraph from the same chapter here from President Trump. Deliver the goods. You can't con people, at least not for long. You can create excitement, you can do wonderful promotion and get all kinds of press, and you can throw in a little hyperbole. But if you don't deliver the goods, people will eventually catch on. So I need to know where the goods are. Where are the goods in Syria, Saudi, and Mamdani? I don't see any of those goods. And I don't think the American people see any of those goods. What we see is we see our country withering away. Now, I think Trump sees it too. But Trump is going to give you hyperbole. He's going to feed into your fantasies. Because I am going to tell you what he posted last night. The Republican Party has never been so united as it is right now. Stop at that. Full stop. I have been doing this for 20 years. I have never seen the Republican Party more divided than it is today. We just had Marjorie Taylor Greene quit. We've got every single person on the right fighting with each other about being for Israel, not being for Israel. This is so splintered, it's unbelievable. Do you know why? Have you noticed how quiet the Democrats have been ever since the shutdown went back into place? I mean, you haven't heard anybody say anything. They're not coming out. Do you want to know why they're doing that? Because they're laughing. They're saying, look at the Republicans. They're imploding. Don't say anything. Just let them continue to eat each other. The Republican Party has never been so united as it is right now, other than Rand Paul Jr., who is Massey, and Marjorie Taylor Brown instead of Greene, and a couple of other lowlifes. And other than the fact that many want the election-threatening filibuster terminated, the Dems will do it in the first minute that they get a chance, and some don't, there is great spirit and cohesion. Plus, the Republican Party is much bigger than it was when I announced in 2015 or ever was before. Many millions more members. We now have the strongest border ever, biggest tax cuts, the best economy, highest stock market in the USA history, and so much more. But the best is yet to come. Vote Republican. Well, first of all, there's no election to vote in right now. But aside from that, do you feel like the economy is great? Do you feel like there's amazing cohesion? Are you feeling the benefits of the last 3 meetings at the White House? Do you like hearing about 600,000 more Chinese 50-year mortgages? Do you like to see that the Saudi prince was given the red carpet? What about the red carpet for some Americans? What about the red carpet for people who are trying like the Dickens to survive? Because they're out there in spades. What about all the kids who just graduated, the 70% of kids who just graduated who cannot get a job in their area of study? This is hyperbole, what he's given right now. Somebody needs to go into his office and say, Mr. President, you need to wake up Because as of right now, we're going to lose the House. And if we lose the Senate, you are going to be impeached and removed within maybe 6 months' time. And when that happens, and J.D. Vance is then put into presidency, and J.D. Vance, a 40-year-old guy who's got no real experience running anything, he's not going to be able to take the economy that's going to be in dire straits in the next 8-9 months and revive it. We need complete, utter focus on America first, America only. We don't need any other Middle Eastern countries, Israel included, coming into the White House and distracting the President of the United States. We do not need to make friends with Democrat socialists and say that they're great guys. You were surprised about how much you align and that conservatives are going to really like this guy. I can guarantee you on the fact that I've got a visor on my head and brown hair and a brown T-shirt, I am never going to look at Mamdani and say, yeah, that's a good guy. He's doing a good job. Never. Ever, ever. Just like I'm never going to look at Dearborn and say, well, that's your typical American city. Some guy on here, Frank, I can't remember his last name here. I just read it on Facebook. Who got to you? Who got to me? The President of the United States got to me. The President of the United States. I don't write his speeches. I don't make his decisions. I don't do his schedule. I just catch. He pitches. And he keeps on throwing the ball in the dirt. And the problem with you, Frank, is you keep on calling it a strike. It's not. It's a wild pitch. It's a ball. We keep on walking batters. It's a strike. It's all a strategy. He's going to load the bases because it's all a strategy. We're going to get a triple play. Why load the bases? Why not just strike out everybody? Why do we have to go through the torture of putting 3 men on bases to try to get a triple play, which never ever happens in baseball? Once every, 5 years? You make no sense. You feed into this shit. It's like your kid coming home and saying, I failed the last 4 tests. And you say, well, did everybody else fail? Yeah. Oh, just keep on doing it. I know what you're doing. You're playing 4D chess. You're going to look like you're a failure, and then all of a sudden you're going to get a 95. Well, that's great, but the 95 doesn't eradicate the other 50s that you got in the last 10 tests. Okay? Where is the mental capacity? Better question is, who got to you? Division is the number one word right now to explain the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, whatever you want to call it, MAGA, conservatives, Republican Party, I don't care what name you put on it. Our team is completely splintered. Nobody even talks about the issues anymore. I'll give you a prime example. We're going to play a clip here. There's a kid named Nick Fuentes. You've probably heard of him because his name is out there every other day. Nick Fuentes last week was Tucker Carlson's best friend. Tucker took him to dinner, gave him an hour platform, never asked him a certain question about like, hey, why are you celebrating Hitler and Stalin? Nothing. Platformed this guy, gave him all the things. Now he's got millions of freaking viewers, only for Tucker Carlson this weekend to call him an anti-Semite. And now Fuentes is pissed. You've got you put 3 names up on a board and they're all pissed off at each other. Play the clip from Nick Fuentes.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't like that he keeps calling me an anti-Semite. What the fuck is that? He didn't call me an anti-Semite on the show or in person, so what is that? Well, we eat dinner for 3 hours, then we do a show, we do this big interview, now I'm an anti-Semite. Well, since when? So let me get it straight. First, I was a gay fed in my parents' basement. Then we're totally kosher. Now I'm an anti-Semite. So what the fuck is that? For 3 years, he's been going around telling everybody, oh, he's a fed. He was a fed at J6. Everything you can think of. He was trash talking me to anybody who would listen for years. To Alex Jones, to groups of people. I heard this secondhand from a lot of people. This guy was talking shit about me for years. He worked on that hit piece. Then he goes with Candace Owens finally and says, oh, he's a weird gay kid, came from nowhere. He's the Fed. He's the David Duke, blah, blah, blah. Then I do a show. None of that. Oh, let's just not talk about that stuff. Okay, if we're friends, sure, let's not talk about it. Now I'm an anti-Semite. Oh, okay. So what is that? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like fakers. I don't like fakers. I don't like people that, I don't like the put on. Like, just cut the shit. Cut the act.
See, that's what you keep on hearing from our side. That's how our side is right now. This one's fighting with this one's fighting with this one. Nobody can understand, even me. I can't understand what the president's doing. It doesn't make sense. This isn't a 4D chess game. This isn't ooh, are we really going to bomb that country? And then all of a sudden, because we said we're going to bomb them, they pull off and then we don't bomb them? I get it. That's not what's happening here. The other side is watching what we're doing, and they're forming a greater snowball than ever before. Now, here's the difference. Trump, and nobody still has written me a paragraph. I don't see the paragraph that says what we're getting. What's at the other side of the 4D rainbow? Instead, I just keep on getting stuff like, you're ranting and raving, call the president. Really? You need me to call the president? The president doesn't recognize this himself? That's a problem. He's supposed to be the smartest, biggest, best guy in the world. Nobody in his cabinet, not a single person, not JD, not Marco, not Susie, not anybody in his cabinet, not Petey Hegseth is going down and saying, Mr. President, we got to have a conversation. I don't get what we're talking about here. This is not what I championed for. This is not what I signed on for. What are we doing? Oh, you need me to do it. You need me to do it. If you keep your faith in what's going on right now in that White House, because you think I'm the only one who really gets it, they all get it. They ain't saying anything to them. Because you want to know what they're doing when they walk outside, when Pete Hegseth is laying in the bed with his wife, you know what he's saying? I don't know what he's freaking doing. I have no idea what he's doing. Everybody says the same thing, but none of them have the balls to say it because they're either afraid to being the next post on Truth Social, or they're afraid that their numbers are going to go down. I give a rat's ass about my numbers. I don't give a rat's ass. You want to leave me, Arthur? You think I give a damn? I don't give a damn. I feel bad for you because you're going to come back. You know how many people have left me over the course of time and come back because they're like, he is right. Because I got the balls to say it. This is what this guy writes. You are ranting and raving from a distance. You don't live far from Mar-a-Lago. Call if he saw the socialist. I'm sure he would see you. I'm sure he remembers you from Fox News. You were a journalist. Get both sides of the story. I'm sure he'll tell you off the record. Off the record what? What in heaven's name do you think he's going to tell me off the record? Write it here on Facebook, Artie. Give me what it is. Let me know the big play. Will you please? Because obviously you're in on it. You all know it. You know, all the people out here, you all know. You all know what he's doing. Listen, it's 4D chess. He's 5-10 steps in front of everybody. No, he's not. The Democrats are. You know who's freaking 20 steps ahead of all of us? Mamdani. Because while Trump is sitting there being like, this guy's not a bad guy. He's a talented guy. You think he's going to make America great again. That Mamdani just sat there, never complimented the president one time, didn't crack a smile, just sat there and said, I'm going to get through this thing. This is called tequila. I'm just getting through it. And I'm going to tell the president, I think you're a fascist. President, you think I'm a fascist? Yeah, I like this guy. I like this guy. The conservatives are going to like this guy. Big, huge, warm smiles. You watched it for 4 or 5 minutes. That went on for 32 minutes. That wasn't anybody's body language like I'm trying to fake this or anything else. You saw what it was like when Trump sat with freaking the Ukrainian president and freaking told him off right to his face. That's what you should have got. You didn't get that. What you got is a guy who's trying to protect his buildings. Okay, so don't give me the bullshit that's not going to fly with me. I'm too smart. That's the way it goes here. You follow? I call him like I see him. We got Mamdani going on Meet the Press over the weekend and doubling down on what he has said to the president's face. He has no fear of Trump. He 4D chess. He probably met with Trump, went home and said, oh my God. I thought it was going to be hard. It was the easiest thing in the world. Go ahead, play the clip. Play the clip from Meet the Press.
Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do?
And that's something that I've said in the past. I say it today. And I think what I appreciated about the conversation that I had with the president was that we were not shy about the places of disagreement about the politics that has brought us to this moment. And we also wanted to focus on what it could look like to deliver on a shared analysis of an affordability crisis for New Yorkers.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe. And that's the thing that I think is important in our politics.
Yeah. Still waiting. I can't see anything here. Nobody's written one thing, what we're getting on the back end of this big 4D chess game. And the reason being is because it's not a chess game. You know, I just read somebody else here. Oh, you know, Trump knows how to play the game. This isn't a freaking game. This isn't a game. It doesn't need to be a game. Like I gave you the example. You know, if you're winning the Super Bowl and you're up 25-0 and you got 6 minutes left, you know what you don't do? You don't say, let's entertain people. Let's throw an interception so this way we can let the other team get close. You close the deal. You make sure you get the ring. You make sure you get the victory. You don't leave any risk, no chance, no margin for error. You conquer, you defeat, and you plant. What is this? What do you think you're getting? Why do you keep on chasing this rainbow into the ocean? It's not working. We're not saying the right things. These are not the things that people championed for on the rally, on the stump. It's not. It's not. It's not. And you may want to believe it, and you may think I'm the bad guy because I'm delivering the message. I'm not alone. I just got a bigger microphone. I'm going to play for you right now. A guy who knows who he is, puts a thing up on TikTok, but he's frustrated. He's had it. Play it, Ryan.
Donald J. Trump. Buddy, I voted for you 3 times. And I'd do it 3,000 more times. But it's time for you to quit shitting around about these Muslims. If you can't or won't get them out of this country before all hell breaks loose, we will. And I want you to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. This is our country, not theirs. And if you will not get them out of here before the shit hits the fan, when the shit hits the fan, there ain't going to be no stopping it. I don't give 2 shits who you send at that point. When we get started, we ain't going to stop till it looks like cowboys and Indians. You understand what I'm saying? Enough of this. Get these terrorists out of our country now.
Janice Maggio, all due respect to you, she writes, we have to pray for our president. No, you need to pray for your country. You understand? You need to pray for your country. Yeah. The next video, you're not going to understand. You're not going to understand. Unless, of course, you speak some sort of Middle Eastern dialect. I don't even know what language this is in. For people who are only listening to this program, I want you to imagine an 18-wheeler with a U.S. Department of Transportation number right on the side door. Then I want you to imagine a woman with a complete and full hijab. Only thing that you can see are her 2 eyes, her nose, and her mouth. And she's holding up her CDL license, her commercial driver's license. This woman, this jihadi woman, is now going to be driving an 18-wheeler. She can't talk the language. But this is the new truck drivers in the United States of America. H-1B, baby. We don't got talented people. Trump says we need the H-1Bs. Play it.
shahaadadayda waa hele waxaan joogaa YouTube waxaan joogaa ganayaan joogaa marka wax badan ku riyoona.
Yeah, there you go. That goes on for 3 minutes. I only just showed it to you for 5-10 seconds. We're giving this woman a CDL license. Yeah, commercial driver's license. That's going to work out well. What can possibly go wrong? 80% of the people who come on H-1B visas, who come over on visas, 80% of those people are filling in low-end jobs. I've already taught you about the nuances of the H-1B visa, where the employers make all the money and they trap these people to where they can never get raises. And that's why the American people are getting kicked in the balls, kicked in the ass. I don't know where you live, but I'm guessing you don't live in Hamtramck. It's a part of Minnesota. It's a lot like Dearborn. This gentleman from the Middle East, and you can hear in the background the calls to prayer, is telling you how great it is to live in Hamtramck. Play it, Ryan.
This is the beauty of living in Hamtramck. You can literally hear multiple adhan. And you can literally walk and come into the masjid.
There you go. That's coming to a neighborhood near you. That's coming to the neighborhood. We just did Trump just had the Syrian president, who for 11 years was a jihadi with a $10 million bounty on his head, who directly and indirectly tried to kill Christians and American citizens. He's now in the White House, shaking hands with the president, taking pictures with Marco Rubio, going back to Syria, all the sanctions off him. And Trump is telling countries around the world, invest in Syria. Where do you think that money's going? You think that money's going into child daycare centers? You think that's going into how to raise a farm in the middle of the sand desert? No, it's going into that jihadi's pocket. So this way he could build more, whatever it is he needs to try to dominate his region. We're giving him money. We're giving him access. We're normalizing this guy. So this way, eventually, we'll wind up taking over more Syrians, and that's what you'll wind up having in your backyard. Hamtramck. Remember me, Artie. Remember me, Frank, when you're waking up at 5:30 in the morning and you got calls to prayer and you're like, how did this happen? Because we're doing AI deals with Qatar. Qatar, the New York Post, just over the weekend, put out an article saying that Qatar is putting billions of dollars into our college system, something I've repeated to you and reported to you countless times. We're putting it into our college systems so this way they can destroy democracy. Trump just took a free airplane from Qatar. Did you cheer for that? Was that what you were saying, Frank? Is that what you were saying, Artie? Is that what you were saying, Janice, when you went to the Trump rally? Syria, Syria, Syria. Were you chanting? Qatar, Qatar, Qatar. Free airplanes, free airplanes. Is that what you were championing for? Maybe you were. Maybe you just got lost and found my page on the way to the jihadi page. I'm sure ISIS has a page somewhere on Facebook. Chicago. You think the biggest problem in Chicago are the shootings on the weekend? No, you got a new problem now. You got the Islamics riding horseback in the middle of the street, breaking the law, disturbing traffic, but nobody does anything. Play it, Ryan.
دراك الشرطة بوجهه يلا روح امشي عيد يوسف امشي ألف خلاص.
It keeps on getting better. Mark my word. Mark it on your calendar. 5 years from now. 5 years from now. You see to the side here, my screen to the side? I don't know where in the Middle East that is, but that's what it's going to look like. Play the B-roll, Ryan. Play the B-roll. This is what these people do. This is how they live. They live in a mess. They're disgusting. This is what your country is going to look like because we continue to take these people in. Trump's doing nothing to stop it. We just wound up reporting over the weekend. You probably heard about it. I'll repeat. That's why it's called the United States of Fraud. That's the title of today's program. There's Somalis in Minnesota. I'll just repeat it in case you don't understand what I'm talking about. The quick story. Going back 2018, the amount of money that would come from Health and Human Services to autism claims in Minnesota was $3 million. It's now $400 million. How did we go from just 5-6 years ago, $3 million to $400 million? How did we go from just having 40 centers for autism and health things of that nature to 312? Why the growth? Why does the Somali community in Minnesota have a triple rate of autism than all the other kids in the state? I'll tell you why. Because they figured out the scam. So you pretend that your kid has autism. You come into my center. I'm going to give you a kickback that the center is getting from the government, from the taxpayers. I'm going to give you a $300 to $1,500 kickback. And then what happens is the parents got smart. They said, we can get more than $1,500 on this kickback because if you don't give me the $1,500 at your center, I got 311 other ones I could go to. And so then what would happen? That money went reportedly to Ilhan Omar and her campaign, but we know for certain that it was sent overseas to Somalia. So this way, Al-Shabaab, the greatest freaking terror network over in Somalia, who kills Americans, can get free money. So the number one donor to the terrorists in Somalia are the Minnesota and American taxpayers. The United States of fraud. What does Trump come out and do? Trump says, I'm removing the TPS, the temporary protective status for all Somalis that are in Minnesota. Do you know how many people that is? It's a couple hundred. Do you know how many people are from Somalia in Minnesota? 40,000. That's not what you do. You go back to what I did before. You get the IRS. You say, I'm going to take 40,000 IRS agents, and each single one of you is going to get a case. I want every single one of these Somalians to have their freaking paperwork evaluated, including Ilhan Omar. I want you to search for fraud. I want you to search for lies, because that's how I denaturalize these people and send them back to freaking the pit that they came from. It doesn't do that. So we got 40,000 problems, and we're going to go after a couple of hundred. We're going to give them TPS. We're going to take away their protected status. Please. Over the weekend, Trump said the paperwork is being created. We're going to put the Muslim Brotherhood on notice. They are going to be designated a terrorist organization. Why have we waited so long? Why did we wait until after we met with Syria, after we took a plane from Qatar, after we were with the Saudi prince, after we were with Mamdani? Why are we waiting so long to put the Muslim Brotherhood on notice? Why? And why do I have to wait for the paperwork to be generated? Just copy paste from what you did on Antifa. I know. It's a 4D chess. It's a 4D chess. Not a problem. Going to blow your mind. Going to blow your mind on this one. And Governor DeSantis, I got to be one of your greatest fans. But let me tell you something, man. It takes 8 years to make somebody love you and 1 day for somebody to forget you. That's politics. I'm going to play a video for you in a second. And again, I have to give the visual ahead of time for people who are listening only. I want you to imagine seeing about 10 to 15 Muslim men in full Muslim garb on their prayer rugs in the middle of a parking lot. And 3 American men go up to these guys, live stream, and start saying that Jesus is the king. And then asking the Islamic men if they want to have some bacon. Is it a taunt? Is it a razz? Absolutely. Now, for those of you who don't know, bacon is not something that Islamic people eat. They feel, the same people who create the rivers that look like this, they feel as if it's a dirty food. Just like dogs. They don't have dogs because they think that's a dirty animal. Okay? Watch this video. At the end of the video, the Islamic leader of the prayer, and we've shortened it down for you, holds a press conference and starts crying. Play it.
Every tongue shall confess, every knee shall bow that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
Bacon. It's really good.
Bacon?
Bacon? Anybody?
Under the new rules from the 12th Imam, you can eat bacon. It's halal. You can eat bacon whenever you want.
After the prayer ended, we look up to see them taunting us in our faces with bacon. I had to relive the whole thing.
Okay. So he cries. He cries. The whole press conference is, they came really close to us. They were yelling, Jesus is the Lord, and they were waving bacon. If you are a Trump supporter, how many times have you worn your MAGA hat outside and said, I hope I don't get my ass kicked today? How many times did you put your flag, your Trump, 2020, 2016, 2024? How many times did you put those flags on your lawn and hope, I hope they don't egg my car or spray paint my house or come and steal my mail? How many times? How many times have you seen videos of people who are white Christians, female or male, out and about, going to a Trump rally, walking down the street and having some crazy lunatic leftist get in your face and scream in your face? And as they're screaming, spitting and spraying all over your face, and that nothing ever happens to them. Nothing ever happens to them. Why? Because they are expressing their First Amendment right. They have the right to be on the street. They got the right to get into your face. They can't touch you, but right to get into your face. They could call you a fascist. They could call you a scumbag. They could call you a Nazi. They could call you Hitler. Doesn't matter. They can do it. They're allowed to do it. It's not nice. It's not fair. It's not even true, but nothing ever happens to them. Black Lives Matter can go burn down a freaking city because George Floyd, a criminal, whacked out of his brain on God knows what drugs, was arrested and then died because he was high on drugs. They can do all that, no problem whatsoever. But the three guys that you just saw in that video who said Jesus is king, who didn't touch a single one of them, and the proof is there because it's live streamed, said, you guys want bacon? Anybody want to eat bacon? The three of them have been arrested and are now charged with a hate crime, which is a felony here in Florida. Now, at the end of the day, they're going to have to spend money on lawyers, and they're going to have to go through this crap, and it's going to get thrown out. But what these people do is they play our own system against us. If you were a Trump supporter and you went and said, I had people in my face, I'll give you another example. Justin Dearborn, last week, we played videos for you. There was a guy who went, a Christian guy, I think he's a Christian guy, whatever he is, he's a white guy who doesn't want to see the Islamification of our country. That's his right. Is he radical? I'll leave that for you to decide. I've never met the guy before. He was carrying a big Jesus cross through the whole thing. Listen, it's his right to do that. If they've got the right to get down on a prayer blanket, then he's got a right to carry a cross. If they can burn our flag, which they've done for decades, he has the right to burn a Quran. Well, when the white guy tried to burn the Quran after they sprayed him in the face with whatever what's that stuff they use, Ryan? What's the stuff that girls use the protection spray, whatever the frick it's called. I don't know, pepper spray. They pepper spray this guy in the face. And he says, all right, they're going to pepper spray me? I'm going to burn their Quran. They stole the Quran from him. They hit him. They freaking fought with him. He has the right to burn that. Nobody went and arrested those people. They got in his face and screamed in this man's face. Nobody arrested those people. They weren't arrested on a hate crime. We showed one video from that whole event last week where the guy looked into the camera and said, if I find that guy, I'm going to shoot him and I'm going to kill him. I'm going to murder him. They didn't arrest that guy. But these 3 guys for bacon are now facing felony charges. This is why people are fed up. Do you understand? Would I be a guy who would start razzing people with bacon and all that? No, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't even drive my car up to those people and put Van Halen on 10 and just disturb their prayer. I would shake my head and say, why are we allowing all these people in? Is this going to become a Muslim country? Maybe I should run for office to kind of stop this stuff. I wouldn't be insulting and in their face like that. But those 3 guys did nothing to break the law. And yet they're going to be used as an example for the next person not to do it. And that's why we keep on losing our country, because the president of the United States normalizes this shit by putting these people standing next to him and smiling up to him. I mean, Mary Carey here on the feed said it best. What is Mamdani's vision of great? Trump says, I think he's going to make New York City great again. What does that mean? That more people are going to be praying in the middle of 42nd Street on prayer rugs? Because that's already happening. Are we going to shut down the Brooklyn Bridge every day for 5 p.m. prayer? When you do what I do, the one risk you have to worry about is that people will call you a racist. A racist is when you think somebody is so beneath you that you won't even give them any respect to the time of day based on their skin color. I don't live like that. You're black, you're Asian, you're Latino. I don't care. You come to the United States and you love the United States and you want to form into our culture. You want to be a part of our culture. You want to leave the sand pits of Middle East and come and live in America and participate and be somebody that stands proudly and waves the American flag and says, I don't want to have anything that looks like that in my rivers. I don't want to take over a parking lot and infuriate everybody else around. I understand. You know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to pray in my own house, and I'm going to do my calls for prayers and my music in my own house because I have respect for my neighbor. Come on over. Do it all day long. You try changing the rules. You try changing the laws. You try changing the culture. You try taking over, and then you're going to slam my country in the process. No, I'm not going to stand up. I'm not going to sit down for that. That's not racist. I saw a video over the weekend and I played it back and back and back. I played it probably 20, 30 times to myself because I just wanted to hear what this young man says. I am about to play a video for you again for the people who are listening. This is a African-American guy who, I don't know if he's in the Army or if he's in the Marines. I don't know if he's overseas or here in America, but he's got a war helmet on and he says, this is my country. If you don't like it, get the hell out. He's a black guy. So if I was a racist, I wouldn't play it. Play it.
Hey, I don't know who need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people be talking shit about America. Hey, if you don't like America, go to another country, bitch. I love this country. I'll protect this bitch.
You know what I say to that, man? God bless you. God bless your family. Thank you so much for what you do. That is my fellow American right there. We may not agree on everything. Maybe he likes the New York Mets and I like the New York Yankees. Maybe he even votes Democrat. But at the end of the day, he's fighting for my country. And he says, you don't like my country? Get the hell out. I'm over here sacrificing my time. I'm sacrificing maybe my life. I'm sacrificing not being with my family. And you're going to sit there and tell me my country sucks? Get the hell out of it. I'll support that guy every single day. Every single day. I'll play that video over and over and over every single day. I'd have that guy on my show. He's a hero. That said, I'm about to play a video for you of a guy right now, which I'm telling you, this is a little foreshadowing this show is going to do its part in making sure that Byron Donalds is not the governor of Florida. He is another one of these BS to your face, and he's a different dude than you want to know. And I will tell you right now, if Florida elects this man, you will see that prayer rug situation I just showed you all over the place, and you'll see more white Christian males being hung up for hate crimes that aren't crimes at all. You will see the state of Florida turn quicker than a freaking banana left in 150-degree weather. I am telling you, you will wind up seeing all the apples rot, all the oranges stink. It will be horrible. Byron Donalds is a past criminal who changes his tune every single day, and who was a George Floyd sympathizer. Play the video.
I'm going to come out with a statement about the heinous murder of George Floyd, because so many people across the country, whether they're white or black, politicians, non-politicians, all came out saying, making the exact right statement, that George Floyd was murdered and that the police officers in question needed to be charged. And so on Friday, when the officer was charged, I said, you know what, justice is going to be done in this case, and I'm just going to sit quiet and let that happen.
Yeah, so I'll read you. This is the closest thing I've gotten so far to anybody telling me the 4D chess, and it's still not an answer. This comes in from a John Key. He says, Mamdani is the hyperbole. His governor has said no to his plans. He isn't going to be able to do squat unless he bends the knee to Trump to get his federal money. It's post-election. He is the mayor of our financial capital for the next 4 years, lowering the temperature of the hateful rhetoric. Yes, like happened with Cruz and Rubio, is wise. Who the hell knows what the compromises will or won't be, but both sides will be battling for leverage. And I have total faith that Trump's team will put up a fight for our survival. Biden's open borders policy was devastating to everything, to our hope for survival as an economic entity, forcing us attacking 47 major problems all at once. And no windy, fired-up patriot should be so sure of themselves without sitting behind the resolute desk. There are angels watching over many and demons fighting to turn corrupted human beings into devoted, selfish, morally wicked actors. It's ugly that the best path Trump's many advisors lead him to believe he needs wicked Middle East contracts in the best interest of the country for now. It is like the mafia leaders meeting to make a deal to quit killing each other. If you aren't willing to adapt with all this crazy shit going on with China, etc., you have no hope to survive. I believe I am in the way. Humans are a mess because Satan rules this even chaos of earth. I listen because, yes, Christian soldiers need inspiration to keep our heads up, to fight up a Jesus-worthy fight. I have no idea what any of that means. I have no idea what any of that means. If you don't think that Mamdani is going to fundamentally change the city of New York, you are mistaken. If you think Mamdani needs federal funding in order to be able to do what he wants to do, you don't understand the master plan. Yeah, free busing? You think free busing is how you fundamentally change New York City? No. Free busing was the bait to make people say, I'll vote for this guy. Free food was the bait, was the hyperbole to make he fed into people's dreams. What he's going to do is he's going to empower his own to do what they like and do what they want. He is going to slowly but surely take the city of New York and make it look like that. He is going to do everything he possibly can to take the normal people who live in that city and force them to leave because they just can't take it anymore. Like the people of Dearborn, the people have Hamtramck. He's going to try to make more people do the bacon trick and the Jesus calling out because he wants the New York City skyline to be that of Mecca. You are missing the master plan. You're missing the 4D chess game played by Mamdani and the Muslim Brotherhood and every single other last person who just won an election. 70-something people went up for election this past election who are Muslims, and half of them won. More than half won. This isn't about free busing, buddy. This is about taking over the West. About sharing and putting Islam into every home. You're missing the call. And so too is Trump. And everybody in his administration. This isn't about playing nice. We don't need to play nice. Play nice? Oh, we'll just let them have their 5 prayers. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, good. Are you guys done? How long do I have? An hour before you play that again? Okay, great. You watch. I've been doing this for a long time, bud. A long time. I end every show with the crazy left, and no, I'm not going to play a clip of Trump. I'm going to play a clip of a representative named Eric Swalwell. You probably know him. He's running for governor. He's going to be running for governor of California. Here's how he thinks voting should be conducted going forward.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian vote by phone. Yeah, if we can do our taxes, do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone.
So voting by phone. What can possibly happen? What can possibly bad happen? So last 2 things before I go off. There's a France something or another. It says there's an old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. First of all, just so you know about that old saying, it's not an old saying. It was a line in the Godfather movie. Okay? Most people think it comes from the book Art of War. Got to do a little bit more homework. All right? It was a mafia head who said that. I think those mafia heads all wound up dead, by the way. Family's gone now. The part that you miss when you put that out on the internet, that Trump is keeping his enemies close, that message goes both ways, man. Don't you get that? You don't think Mamdani watched The Godfather? You don't think the Muslims read The Art of War? Of course they did. Enemies closer? Just had a Syrian jihadi who hates the West, a Saudi prince who hates the West, who played a part, his family played a part in 9/11. Mamdani, who is a Democrat socialist. You don't think they're keeping their enemies closer? You got to take your blinders off. Let me be very clear in ending this program. I voted for Donald J. Trump 3 times. Proudly. I want my president to succeed hugely. I am blown away by the courage that he has shown year after year. They've tried to destroy him. They have tried to ruin everything in his life. They tried to take his money. They tried to take his businesses. They tried to take his family. They tried to make him into something that he wasn't. They tried to take his life. He didn't bow. He didn't cower. He didn't go hide in a shell. He said, fight, fight, fight. And I'm all for that. And when I went in 2024 and I pulled that lever, I almost broke that lever off. I was so proud to pull it. But in the same way, if I saw my kid pulling out some lines of cocaine, I would jump over everything to get that shit off the table and do whatever I could to save my kid from destroying himself and maybe his family along the way. If you think I'm going to sit here and just say, Trump's the best president, 4D chess with Mamdani. I mean, these are brilliant moves. I don't know where they end up, but come on. I look at the economy. It's slowing down. I look at people not being able to afford the prices of almost everything. Yeah, better than Biden, but Biden was freaking untenable. You couldn't keep that up. We're still in a bad place. I hear about Chinese students. I hear about H-1B visas. I hear about TPS for Somalis when it should be denaturalization. You want me to champion for that? I ain't going to do it. If my wife goes out tomorrow and cheats on me, am I supposed to think, well, it's 4D chess. Maybe she's going to come home and she's going to learn a couple of new tricks? No. Get your head out of the hyperbole. If you don't tell your president by sharing videos and writing emails that you are unhappy with what he is saying and doing, he's never going to know. You keep on telling him it's 4D chess, 4D chess. You just keep on encouraging him. He's never going to know. Do you know why over the weekend he announced that he's going to do this Muslim Brotherhood thing? Because people like me are screaming bloody murder as to it needs to be done, and then people like you are sharing it. That's the only thing you can do. It's the only thing we can do. It is the greatest tool in your toolkit. So, yeah, you want to pray for the president? I pray for the president, too. I do it every day at the end of the show, but I always pray for America biggest and foremost. Pray for your country. Because like I said to my friend, I've been doing this for 20 years. It would be so much easier today to get up here and just give you a video that you feel like you should share because it tells a Democrat, you were wrong, my guy was right, we're kicking ass. I mean, if anything, this just only raises my blood pressure. I got another interview to do at 11 o'clock. I got to come down from this. Reset. You think I want to do this? You think I want to talk about negative stuff? But when my house is on fire, I don't put on Fox News to see if it's on the news. I get everybody out. I call the fire department and I try to put out the fire. I'll end by saying DMLCBD.com. I waited for the end. I didn't put it at the front. DMLCBD.com. We have our, final giveaway. Everything is just $20 below my cost in so many different examples. But it's my way of saying thank you as we say farewell, because the GOP destroyed an entire hemp industry. But I guess that's 4D chess too, right? What's it going to be? 3 years from now? Oh, it's back. Oh, do you see what he did? He took it away so everybody could remember how much they loved it. So there's why they put it back. This is just... Stop with the stupidity. If you want stupidity, if you want moronic statements, Candace Owens is on in a couple of hours. The French and the Israelis and the boogeyman, and I think Santa Claus is trying to take her out. It's amazing. The Israelis blew up Hamas through pagers. I mean, it was like, holy cow, they could take out anybody. Yeah. But those same crazy assassins can't get some loudmouth podcaster from our home. Yeah, okay. Keep on buying the hyperbole. You're making a lot of people rich. For those of you who do align and do believe and appreciate today's program, which is truth on a stick, I always love you and I appreciate you in a huge way. Tomorrow's show will be the interview I had with the Assistant Attorney General, Keith Gross, also thinking about maybe running for the governorship here in Florida. You are going to enjoy that show because, well, both of us hold nothing back. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. You can get it here on Facebook. You get it on Rumble. You can get it on the DML News app, which you could download for free from the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, and, of course, Team DML. Until next time, God bless you. God bless our president. And God bless the United States of America. We'll talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.